गजाननं भूतगणादिसेवितं कपित्थजम्बूफलसारभक्षितम् उमासुतं शोकविनाशकारणं नमामि विघ्नेश्वरपादपङ्कजम्। Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Namaste. Welcome to this second session on Bhaja Govindam. This week, we are going to come across with a few beautiful verses like Sat Sangatve, Dissangatvam, Jatilo Mundi, Lunchita Kesha, etc. in our study of next 8 verses. We will also listen to the chanting of these verses by Srimati Sukanya Narayan at the end of the class. So friends, let us prepare ourselves to swallow the next 8 bitter capsules of Shankara Bhagavad Pada. Hegde sir will first prepare us with his introduction of today's class. Over to you, sir.
Om Akhanda Mandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. The Bhaja Govindam is a program that helps to transform a religious person to a spiritual person. From God being the means for all our worldly requirement, the big jump is to see how God can be the goal. How I can use every difficulty in the world to help me to transform, to discover God in each and every experience, particularly my difficult experience. My whole prayer now shifts from asking God for all the good things in the world to maybe only 2 things, to Jnanam and Vairagyam. In today's class, we will hear some nice verses about the importance of Satsangatve, of Satsangatvam, and how Satsangatvam can pave the way to Jivan Mukta. The source of the answer to all the problems of samsara is Jnanam. That all the glitter and the glamour of the world, like youth, wealth, and power, are all temporary. Our life is too precious. Can we make the most of our time? This whole shift from dharmartha kama to moksha, from prayas to shreyas, is not going to be easy. It requires a lot of effort. And as we get older, let us not add years to life, but let us see how we can add life to years. We may be able to fool anybody, but we may not be able to fool ourselves. And some of the verses which will be a wake-up call when our transformation may be only external but not internal. True transformation is internal. And if there is no transformation internal along with the external transformation, Krishna uses a strong word in the Bhagavad Gita called a mithyachara. Let us be very receptive to these words of the Bhaja Govindam. Our opening speaker will be Indumati. Over to you, Indumati.
Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Satsangatve Nissangatvam, Nissangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Muktihi. Satsangatve means company of the good, that is a guidance of a good proper guru. Nissangatvam, non-attachment, that is Vairagyam. Nissangatve, through Vairagyam, Nirmohatvam, arises freedom from delusion. Nirmohatve, through freedom from delusion, Nischalatatvam, we obtain tranquility. Nischalatatve, through tranquility, again it is Jivan Muktihi, the state of liberated in life, that is moksha. So seek, Govinda says Adi Shankaracharya. Through the guidance of a proper guru and good company, there arises non-attachment, that is Vairagyam. Through non-attachment arises freedom from delusion, and from delusion, from freedom from delusion, there comes immutable reality. On experiencing this immutable reality, there comes the state of liberated in life. So, be in the company of highly empowered people. Our choice of company defines who we are. Adi Shankaracharya gives a simple 4-rung ladder of progress by carefully climbing which a seeker can comfortably arrive at the highest reaches of perfection. This mantra also reminds us of the 8-rung ladder of downward fall from Bhagavad Gita, which describes in chapter 2, verses 62 and 63, they are Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsaha and Krodad Bhavati Sammoha. Next, Adi Shankaracharya here tells us how to move our attention from the ephemeral, short-lived Vyavaharika Satyam to eternal Paramarthika Satyam. Then, how to go about the exercise of conversion from delusion to discrimination. This is a route map verse. Shastras are like a forest. Sometimes service to society and mankind is glorified. Sometimes meditation or namajapa or who am I inquiry, they are all glorified. So it's confusing, but it is possible only in a satsang through proper guru, and one can gain through nisangatvam and vairagyam, which are the qualifications to attain knowledge. Next slide, sir. Jnana yogyata. The disciplines in this step are karma yoga and upasana yoga. Viveka, vairagya, sadhana chatushtaya sampatti and tivra mumukshutvam, source of happiness, which is a security and peace, are all within oneself. Abiding in this knowledge at all times leads to tranquility of mind. Nischala tattvam. The discipline in this step is nidhidhyasanam. This is jnana phalam, that is freedom from samsara. To conclude, this freedom from samsara is a state of jivan mukti. Jivan means here itself you can enjoy freedom. This lasting tranquility is jivan mukti. Hari Om. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Indumati. Buddha had given a nice mantra which says, Buddham Sharanam Gacchami, surrender to an enlightened master. But an enlightened master is extremely difficult to find. So he gives the next option, Sangam Sharanam Gacchami. Sangha is a group of people committed to seeking something higher, the search for the truth. And whenever we are in satsanga, we are away from samsara. We are closer to vairagya. Through vairagya and through satsanga, spiritual knowledge is possible. And through that method, we are able to get jnana nishtaha, which is jivan muktihi. The next verse will be by Shamala. Over to you, Shamala.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The verse goes like this. Vayasi gate kaha kama vikaraha shushke nire kaha kasaraha chine vitte kaha parivaraha jnate tatve kaha samsaraha. Next slide, please. Here, Shankaracharya points out how knowledge leads to liberation. Suffering or dependence on the external world is purely because of ignorance. Ignorance of my own real strength. All which I need is already there within me. If I know the fact, why should I go out with a begging bowl? Since I did not know my riches, I asked outside. Therefore, ajnanam is the cause of suffering. That is samsaram. Next slide. When ajnanam, the karanam, is removed by knowledge, the karyam, the samsara, also goes away. Karana nashe, karya nashaha. So, ajnana nashe, samsara nashaha. Remove the cause, the effect will also go away. To convey this principle, Shankaracharya gives 3 examples in first 3 lines to prove Karananashe Karyanashaha. Just like when jaggery is removed, ants will automatically disappear. Next slide. The first example is Vayasigate Kaha Kamavikaraha. Kamavikaraha means product of desire. What is the product of desire? Karma or activity. Desire forces a person to work for the fulfillment of desires. All the activities are possible because of Vayasi. Vayaha means youth and strength, balam. When there is strength, karma is possible. Balam nashe, karma nashaha. Shankaracharya says youth is the cause of karma. Karana nashe, karya nashaha. When strength is gone, all the karmas are gone. This is the example number 1. Next slide. The second one, Shushke Nire Kaha Kasaraha. Kasaraha means lake, Nire means water, Shushke means dried up. Water is the cause of lake. When the water has dried up, there is no longer lake is no longer continue to exist. Next slide. Kshine Vitte Kaha Parivaraha. Kshine Vitte means when wealth is reduced. Kaha Parivaraha means where are the relatives and friends? They are attached to you because you are rich. When money is gone to look at you, Parivara is gone. When with these 3 examples, it is clear that when the cause is absent, the effect is also absent. Next slide. Next slide, please. Carrying this analogy into the subjective realms of spiritual perfection, Shankaracharya asked the question, when the truth is realized, where is samsara? Gnate tattve kaha samsaraha. When you know the truth and destroy ignorance, the samsara will not around you. Samsara means various forms you suffer. Don't find solution for each and every suffering. Go to the root cause. Ignorance is the root cause. What is the remedy for ignorance? Knowledge. For that purpose, approach a guru for Tattva Gnana with the attitude of surrender, humility, reverence. You should have the thirst for the knowledge and serve the guru. Exposed to his teachings, the importance of satsanga is highlighted here. Guru will help you in purification also and gaining the knowledge also. Once you know the truth about yourself, who you are, pure consciousness. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Shamala, for explaining this verse, which with various examples that Adi Shankara has given, that all our problems, all our samsara is because of ignorance. Knowledge can remove ignorance. The moment knowledge comes in, suffering can disappear at once. The next verse is by Dr. Nitravati. Over to you, Dr. Nitravati.
Namaste, Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The verse goes as Ma kurudana jana yauvana garvam harati nimeshat kala sarvam maya mayamidam akilam bhutva brahma padam tvam pravisha viditva bhaja govindam. So in this verse, the topic which is being discussed is the delusion of a man who is in his youth, who has lot of wealth and lot of people around him. So he begins to get so much deluded by all this that he imagines them to be his. He forgets that all this is because of Bhagavan, God, and he starts objectifying all of them as my property, my people, mine. So the arrogance increases to such an extent that he starts having disdain for the less fortunate. He forgets that all this is because of Bhagavan. So we should remember wealth is something which is temporary and it can just go away like a bubble or a wave of water. Similarly, age is something which nobody can change. It ages and the youth eventually becomes old age and death. And we very well know that the people who are around us may not be there tomorrow when our wealth and power is not there. So these three things, that is the youth, people and the wealth, all of them are temporary, illusory products of Maya, which can just go away in a fraction of a second. So we should remember, instead of trying to find happiness from all this, we should try to find happiness from that thing which even Yamadharmaraja will not be able to take it from us. And that is the UPS, uninterrupted pleasure supply, Atman, or the Brahman, which is there in all of us always. So going to the Anvaya of the verse, Ma kuru dhanajana yavana garvam. Do not indulge in conceit because of wealth, people, youth. Harati nimeshat kala sarvam. This can be destroyed by Kala, that is Yamadharmaraja, in the blink of an eye. Maya mayamidam akilam hitva. Abandon all this because these are products of Maya. Brahma padam tvam pravisha viditva. Such a revolutionary sentence in the end, he says. That is, understand the great principles of Brahman and eventually enter into the realm of Brahmapadam. So here we should understand this entering is just a figurative entry. As we know that Brahman is within us, within the self, it is for us to realize. Coming to the next slide, to understand this self, it is very nicely quoted by Shankaracharya, Ramana Maharshi, and previously discussed by Hegde sir also, by this story. This is called as the Dashamaha story, where 10 people, foolish men, try to cross the river. They cross the river with great difficulty because of flood, eventually reach the banks of the river. And after reaching there, they count all of them and realize that there are just 9 of them. So they get stuck in grief. They start weeping, wallowing with sorrow. And that is the time a wise man approaches them and shows them the 10th man. So you can see the 10th man was not lost. It was just that he was not counted, not noticed, not overlooked. So that is the reason they got stuck in grief. This is a similar thing which happens to us in samsara. We try to see, perceive, and try to get happiness from all the objects which we are seeing and which we are noticing, but forget the 100% self which is within us always and which we do not count. So to realize that, a wise man is required to show the 10th man, to show that knowledge, and that is the teacher. And when the teacher gives us that knowledge, it is called as Paroksha Jnanam. And when the knowledge, we realize it, it is called as Aparoksha Jnanam. So understanding the true knowledge does not mean you're going to create a new you. You're going to remove the ignorant ignorance and understand or realize or discover the true, natural, eternal, imperishable self within us. So finally, coming to the next slide, the message from this verse is, that is, do not get diluted by youth, wealth, and people. It can just go away in the blink of an eye. And do not take temporary support from outside. Instead of depend on yourself. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Netravati, for a nice explanation of this very popular verse, Ma Kuru Janadana, which is actually, in other words, Asatoma Sadgamaya, that which appears to be real, youth, wealth, power, and so on, may not be as real, but can be shifted from all that we experience to the experiencer, Brahma Padam, which is there within us all the time. Our next verse will be by Dr. Jagdish. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Gurubhyo Namaha. This shloka, the fourth one for today, is almost at the end of the Dwadasha Manjarika, the bouquet of 12 flowers by Adi Shankara, before we move to Sharpata Pancharika, which is by his Shishyas. A quick recap of the 3 beautiful stanzas which have been explained previously. The first one said about satsang, helping in non-attachment and freedom from delusion. as a first step for Jivan Mukti. The second one opened our eyes of the temporary nature of youth, wealth, and illusion. Let's call it samsara. The third one cautioned us how gnana, yauvana, garva, in a nimishat, just in a fleeting moment, harati, it can be looted away. With that, we move on to the fourth shloka of mine today, where Shankara tells about the importance of time. Time and tide wait for none. And even in Vijnana Shataka, Bhartrihari states, Kalaha Tasmai Namaha. Coming to the shloka proper, the shloka goes like this. Dinayamino Sayam Prataha, Shishira Vasantau Punaryataha, Kalaha Kridati Gachanti Ayu, Stadapi Na Munchanti Ashavayu. It's not a very cryptic shloka. Dinayamino is day and night, Sayam Prataha dusk to dawn, Shishira Vasanto, winter and spring, Punar Ayataha, they come again. Kalaha Kridati, the time just plays, sports. Gachati Ayu, ebbs away the life. Tadapi, yet. Asha Ayu, the gust of desires, Namuchati, they don't let us go. Talking of time, all of us are experts in postponing things. Well, it has been the same 24 hours for all, including Adi Shankara and Swami Vivekananda, who did not live beyond the fourth decade, but yet had phenomenal achievements. If only our passion for Artha Kama were to be redirected for Brahma Vidya and Moksha, just ponder. Even for a Sita, the infinite love for Rama was clouded by a golden deer. And Alexander the Great, after innumerable conquests, realized what he had missed, and his epitaph is legendary even to today, after over 2000 years saving. He says he took nothing with him in spite of all those victories. Chinmayanandaji states, man without memories from past blocks the present, sets it ablaze, blinds his vision with anxiety for the future. Third slide, sir. We come to Kathopanishad, our favorite. It goes, Sasyamiya Marta Pachyate, Sasyamiva Jayate Punaha. The little Nachiketa boldly tells Vajasravas, his father, things born must die and perish and be reborn. And not just his father. He has even the audacity to tell Yamaraja in Yamaloka, Api Sarva Jivita Alpameva, Tavai Vaha Tava Nritya Gite. Even the longest life of your boons you are trying to give me is trifle. So please keep for yourselves the dance and music. Desires are nothing but delusions at play, little Nachiketa seems to say. Unfortunately, the only Upanishadic knowledge we learn is at the feet of the guru of material success. And what is it? Next slide, sir. Workaholism, bless us with alcoholism. Weekends become weekend, and desires are bound for eternal rest. Next slide, sir. Riding the bullet train of the Jivan Yatra, we start with worry, go on to a lot of curry, hurry, and finally, of course, bury. We seem to forget that even Yamaraja works 24 hours a day with a global reach. And remember the third line of the stanza, Kalaha Kridati, time is just dancing, and Ayu Gachati, the age is just going. And the Moha Mudgara, the hammer blow from Adi Shankara, continues. Final slide, sir. So let us learn to be fearless by substituting wisely our time, grow steadily in time, and be free for all times to come. Thank you, sir. Gurubhyo Namaha.
Thank you, sir, for a nice explanation of this verse. Kalaha kridati gachati ayuhu. Time will just fly away. And as being human beings, and if we value the gift of human birth, and moksha is our goal, jnana yogyata takes time. Getting knowledge takes time. And this knowledge to become a nishtha takes time. All this needs a fit body and mind. So let us prioritize these activities in the available time. That's what this verse says. Shiv Kumar, please explain the next verse, please.
Hari Om. Sri Gurubhyo Namaha. We have heard from the earlier speakers from verse 9 onwards explaining the importance of Satsanga. In this first verse of Chaturdasha Manjarika attributed to Padmapada, a disciple of Bhagavad-pada Adi Shankara, he extols further the virtue of Satsanga to overcome samsara. The verse goes like this: Kate kanta dhanagata chinta, vatula kimtava nasti niyanta, trijagati sajjana samgati reika, bhavati bhavan avatharane nauka. We will take up the line by line. In the next slide, he says, Kate kanta dhanagata chinta. O fool, O deluded one, what is with this endless obsession with objects of desire or attachment or kama? Why this endless obsession of artha or wealth? Our scriptures, whether Bhagavad Gita or Upanishads, have extensively highlighted that our time and efforts on anything materialistic is a waste of energy and is destructive. Being caught in the web of Maya, it is difficult to realize the errors in our life. The clutches of desires are so strong. We are continuously bombarded with sensory inputs, which subconsciously creates strong desires. Thinking rationally, if we carefully examine the relationships, whether between husband, wife, children, etc., or our efforts to satiate our desire for artha, that is, wealth, possessions, material belongings, which we wish to amass, are only transitory pleasures, we realize that the time and effort spent on such artha and kama is wasting this invaluable human janma. Shamala beautifully explained about this in verse 10. Dr. Jagdish also explained the strong clutches of desires in the previous verse. As a sadhaka, we should strive to grow over such sense gratification. Knowing the limitations of artha and kama, Padmapada admonishes those who are materialistic. In the next line, he says, Vatula kimtava nasti niyanta, O fool, O deluded person, in all the three worlds, why for you is there no controller, a guru or satpurusha? Friends, when in an animal body, one will have an instinctive way of life. But when blessed with a human body with faculty of choosing, we must ask ourselves, do I need to continue an animalistic way of life, or being born a human aspire for higher goals? Vedas clearly say that we must slowly shift our focus from artha kama pradhana to dharma moksha pradhana life, a shift from ephemeral to eternal, from impermanence to permanence, and this is spirituality. Dharma is preparedness with moral values. It bestows mental health, peace, and gnana yogata. Moksha is spiritual enlightenment. For this, Padmapada himself gives us a clue and says in the last line, next line, Trijagati sajjana samgati raiva, sangati raika, bhavati bhavar navatharane nauka. In all the three worlds, there is only one thing that can save you from this ocean of samsara. It is the association with good people, satpurushas, which serves as a lifeboat to cross over the ocean of samsara. Quickly jump onto that boat of satsanga to escape from this sorry go-round samsara of repeated birth and death. Sat means true, the true, unchangeable, permanent existence. Sangha means a constant association. Satsanga means gathering together for the truth, or more simply, being with the truth. Truth is what is real, what exists. Satpurushas, we know, are wise people who guide us to turn to the truth and help us shift from our focus from artha kama pradhana to dharma moksha pradhana. Association with Satpurushas is called Satsanga, the lifeboat. I conclude by recalling Bhagavad Gita verse 5, chapter 6, where Lord Krishna says, Uddaret Atmana Atmanam meaning one should uplift oneself by oneself. By constant remembrance of the Lord, associating with Satpurushas, we can uplift our thoughts. As the boat floats on water without difficulty, so too we can live in this world without getting entangled in the web of Maya by jumping onto this lifeboat of Satsanga. Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namah.
Thank you, Shiv Kumar, for a nice explanation. We have come to that part of the Bhaja Govindam where the verses are contributed by some of the illustrious students of Adi Shankara. This is from Padmapada, who says that we have a lot of pleasant activities, spending more time with family, friends, and all the things that we love to do. We spend more time in Dharma, Artha, and Kama. To move to moksha is not easy. And he gives again, if you want to do that, one of the wonderful tools that we have is Satsanga. The next verse is by Dr. Sanjay Mehrotra. Over to you, Dr. Sanjay.
Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. My verse goes like this. Jatilo mundi luchitikesha kashayambara bahukritavesha pashyanapi chan pashyati mudha udar nimittam bahukritavesha. Next slide, please. So here is a description of a sannyasi who has got knotted hair. Jatila. Jatila means knotted hair. And mundi, of course, means a shaven head or a head. Lunchit kesha means whose hair has been plucked out here and there. Kasaya means a saffron colored cloth. Ambara again means a cloth or a robe. And bahukrata, which is being donned often by a sannyasi, which is an artificial exterior, veshaha. Pasyannapi, even after seeing that and not, a mudha, a fool, he lives only for the sake of belly or living. And he lives in various forms, bahukrit vesha, various makeups, roles by his outer experiences. Next slide, please. So here, there is a vivid description of an ascetic who has got matted hair and shaven head, but who has material quest and is disguised in ochre clothes. So it is a kind of a satire on a sannyasi who obtains the color and the shape and the form of a sannyasi, but he's a muda because he has not understood the real nature of himself. Such a person internally is still seeking material and physical comfort or an intellectual delight. He's lost and cannot understand that what he is doing is only a personal fulfillment. And Shankara considers such a person to be a fool, and because he's so near to the truth, but he's blind. Now, what he says is that unless the hurdle of selfish consideration, where the thought of me and mine does not leave, one cannot progress in his spiritual journey. Next slide, please. The foolish one do not see the truth and get lost in the Maya and Samsara and the world. They may have superficially converted themselves into a sannyasi, but the inner self is still attracted to the selfish material gain. We ourselves who have understood the philosophy and maybe an intellectual understanding of the jnana we have got, have to sometimes, understand that what happens to us when we go out of this satsanga. Vivekananda has said that Maya takes you over immediately. You may feel very elated and intellectually superior when you're doing a satsanga with the people around who you are doing the satsanga. When you go out in the world, in 1 minute, all that satsanga becomes Maya again. So a yukta or a samatvi has to understand and differentiate, and that is important. By putting on the ochre color clothes or having a jatila on your head and shaving your mundi does not mean anything. So it gives value to a grahastha like us, that even despite being a grahastha, if you understand and do the nididhyasanam according to what is being understood or introspected by you, it will take you towards moksha. It may not give you the moksha, but at least there is an effort. Hari Om.
Thank you, Dr. Sanjay, for a nice explanation of a verse, this time by Totakacharya, who emphasizes that the real transformation is not external transformation in your hair or dress, but as much as an internal transformation. And that is why you can be a grihastha, but still work for transformation. This shift from prayers, pleasant activity, to shreyas is not easy. And that is what these and the subsequent verses will tell us. The next verse is by Dr. Sheila. Over to you, Dr. Sheila.
Namaste, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. The verse is Angam Galitam Palitam Mundam Dasana Vihinam Jatam Tundam Vruddho Yati Grihitva Dandam Tadapina Munchati Asha Pindam. This verse is given by a great and very young disciple of Shankaracharya, that is Hasta Amalakacharya. He is called Hasta Amalaka because he knows the truth so clearly, like seeing a gooseberry kept on the hand, which is very clear. You can see the word meaning in the next slide. That is Angam Galitam. Next slide. Angam Galitam means limbs are loosened, non-functional. Palitam Mundam, that is the head has turned white and the hair is turned gray. Then Dasana Vihinam, Dasana is teeth, Vihinam has fallen. Jatam Tundam, the mouth is toothless now, empty. Dandam Grihitva Ruddho Yati, the old man walks with the help of a walking stick. Tadapi, even then, still, Na Munchati, does not give up. Asha Pindam, Asha is desire, Pindam is bundle. So even at this age, the old man does not give up bundle of materialistic desires for sense pleasures. To understand the limitations of the world, now you should turn the attention to the God, towards God. So Bhagwan gives teachings through varieties of life experiences. Our life experiences of pleasure and pains, the experiences of losing the things that we hold on to, and loss of money, near and dear ones, positions, job, youth, hair, teeth, etc. Every loss in life is indirect teaching of the fact nothing in the creation is stable. Mundaka Upanishad says, Pariksha Lokan Karma Chittan Brahmano Nirvedam Ayan Nasti Akarta Kritena. Pariksha means the person examines, experiences the life, and understands that everything in the creation, that is dharma, artha, and kama, all these purusharthas have got three doshams. They are dukkha mishritam, atriptikatvam, bandhakatvam. Nirvedam ayad, he becomes dispassionate or develops vairagya towards them. So expectations of any form from external source is going to create problems. Every experience and pain we undergo is done only with the intention of reshaping us and to become mature. Vruddha, the Sanskrit meaning is to grow, elevate, strengthen, expand, magnify, glorify. So Veda says, the next slide, with advancing age, may you gradually change your priorities from Artha Kama Pradhana life to Dharma Moksha Pradhana life. So you've been seeing Shankaracharya and other acharyas have been hammering us and says, in spite of living for so many decades, the body is old and the mind is still 5 years old, committed to Artha and Kama. So learn from these whippings and change the attitude. The ultimate source of love and care is only God, and that too the Lord who is within ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Sheila, for explaining this verse given by another great student of Bhagwan Shankaracharya, Hasta Malakiya. All of us become old. But the question is, am I growing or am I aging? Am I adding years to my life, or am I adding life to my years? If I get old and I'm not spiritually wise, we have missed the opportunity of this life. And each of these aging processes should remind us that Yamadharma Raja is part of the same process. He does not come at the very end. Aging is also part of the work of Yamadharma Raja. So let us make full use of our life before we have to surrender this body. The next verse is by Aruna. Over to you, Aruna.
Hari Om, Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Agre vanhi prishthe bhanu, ratrau chubuko samarpita januhu, karatala bhikshas tarutala vasas, tadapina munchatyasha pashaha. This verse has been attributed to the disciple Subodha, disciple of Bhagavan Shankaracharya. The crux of this verse is actually a denunciation of mere asceticism. An earlier verse, and Dr. Sanjay also spoke about pseudo-sannyasi. This verse says that mere asceticism will not do, even if it is genuine. We hear about Rakshasas in the Puranas who perform penances for all the wrong reasons to dominate and control others. So that is not the spiritual way, says this verse, and it describes it very graphically. This verse has a very vivid description of various forms of tapasya or penance. Agre vanhi prishthe bhanu. One is described as sitting in front of a blazing fire under the scorching heat of the midday sun and performing oblations. Next slide, please. Another austerity, Ratrau Chubuko Samarpita Jano, sitting huddled up at night when it is bitterly cold with very meager kind of clothing. Next slide, please. Karatala Bhikshas Tarutala Vasaha, living on a few palms or morsels of food, living without a house, living in the open space, and living out under a tree. These are some of the forms of tapasya which have been mentioned in this verse, and this is what people do perform. The upside of this kind of austerity can bring down our dependence on material things and give us a moderate amount of freedom, resulting in less suffering. And this tapasya may also yield power of siddhis in some cases, but this is to be avoided. This is not the goal of spiritual life at all. The goal of spiritual life or practice is freedom from I. The scriptures talk about external and internal transformation, like moving from prayas to shreyas. The internal and external transformation happening to a seeker. These austerities create only an external transformation. The Bhagavad Gita talks of a hypocrite or a mithyachara sannyasa who has merely dealt with the external factors but has not changed internally at all. So the real spiritual practice is the internal change that happens to a seeker, regardless of where he or she is or where they are sitting or not sitting. Living, it means abiding in the self while remaining in the world. Living in the mind as an ascetic, in the mind, in the world. And how does one live mentally as an ascetic? It is the internal change where the mind gives up attachments and desires. That is the transformation required. Desire is the root of all suffering, and desirelessness, which is the result of inquiry into truth, is the fruit of self-knowledge, and that is where we must be focused upon. Therefore, performing austerities without the desires being rooted out this is a false step which leads nowhere. The other problem of doing these mere austerities is that it does not remove body consciousness or body identification. To know the self means to give up the attachment to the body, and such austerities which have been mentioned in this verse actually reinforce the consciousness to the body identification, because you're just torturing the body. So this is a detriment to spiritual progress. So not only is it unnecessary and uncalled for, it can be counterproductive also, putting us on the wrong path. So we should therefore be focused totally on internal transformation and not worry so much about the external presentation of ourselves. Thank you. Hari Om.
Thank you, Aruna. That was a nice explanation of this verse. Where the description of a false sannyasi is given. And and Sri Krishna, the Bhagavad Gita, calls such a person as a mithyachara. So we have seen the second verse talking about the true transformation being not an external transformation, but an internal transformation. Swami Anubhavananda ji in his talks have said to be very careful when criticizing a renunciate, a sannyasi, and that only a renunciate can do that, and we should not be critical of a renunciate. A nice point that you have brought out, Aruna, is about the importance of body disidentification and focus on any of these sadhanas that make the body very resistant to extreme hot, extreme cold, still become a form of a bodily fitness for all the difficulties. It may look externally as a great tapasya, but it still strengthens this idea of body identification. And the whole spiritual exercise is body disidentification. And therefore, such exercises are discouraged. With that, we have come to the end of today's explanation of the verse, but we will now have a chanting, and I will hand you over to Venkatesh Prasad, who will tell us how these verses will be chanted. Over to you, Venkatesh.
Thank you, sir. So, Sukanya madam will be chanting all the 8 verses that different 8 speakers have explained. Sukanya ma'am.
Hari Om. स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते सत्सङ्गत्वे निसंगत्वं निसंगत्वे निर्मोहत्वं निर्मोहत्वे निश्चलतत्वं निश्चलतत्वे जीवन्मुक्तिः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। वयसि गते कः कामविकारः शुष्के नीरे कः कासारः क्षीणे वित्ते कः परिवारः नाते तत्त्वे कः संसारः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। मा कुरु धन जन यौवन गर्भं हरति निमेष काल सर्वं मायामयमिदम् अखिलं हित्वा ब्रह्मपदं त्वं प्रविशद्विदित्वा। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। दिनयामिन्यो सायं प्रातः शिशिरवसन्तौ पुनरायतः कालक्रीडति गच्छत्यायुः तदपि न मुञ्चति आशवायुः। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। काते कान्त धनगत चिन्त वातुल किं तव नास्ति नियन्त। त्रिजगति सज्जन संगतिरेका भवति भवार्णव तरणे नौका। भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते। जटिलो मुण्डी लुञ्चितकेशः काषायाम्बर
बहुकृतवेषः पश्यन्नपि च न पश्यति मूढो ह्युदरनिमित्तं बहुकृतवेषः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते अङ्गं गलितं फलितं मुण्डं दशनविहीनं जातं तुण्डं वृद्धो याति गृहीत्वा दण्डं तदपि न मुञ्चति आशापिण्डं भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते अग्रे वह्निः पृष्ठे भानुः रात्रौ चुबुकसमर्पितजानुः करतलभीक्षः स्तरुतलवासः तदपि न मुञ्चति आशापाशः भज गोविन्दं भज गोविन्दं गोविन्दं भज मूढमते।
Thank you, Sukanya ma'am, for that beautiful chanting. Thank you, friends. With that, we have come to the end of today's class. Next Friday, let us study some more verses of Bhaja Govindam. Before that, let's meet on Monday, same time for Viveka Chudamani. Please log in by 6:45 p.m. local time. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti 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 Hari Bol.